The approaching end of the first century of the rule of the Targaryens, the health of the elder King Jaehaerys was in decline. In those days, the Targaryen family was at the height of its power, with 10 adult dragons under their control, and no force in the world was able to stand up to them. The King Jaehaerys ruled for nearly 60 years in a period of peace and prosperity, but a tragedy claimed the lives of his 2 sons, which raised doubts about his succession. Therefore, in year 101, the king called the Grand Council to choose his heir. The decision was the Prince Viserys Targaryen will be the Prince of the Dragonstone, and the Princess Rhaenys, being a woman, would not have inherited the Iron Throne. Instead, the Lord chose Prince Viserys. It's now the 9th year of King Viserys Targaryen rule, 172 years before the death of the Mad King Aerys and the birth of his daughter Princess Daenerys Targaryen. And in a majestic scene above the clouds there is a soaring dragon with a princess on his back. Then he headed to the top of the city and the dragon flying there, and it was seen that familiar to them, until he reached his landing area, and the guards are preparing to receive the princess, and they are always afraid of the dragon, while the Princess Rhaenyra is used to riding her beloved dragon. Then she heads to her carriage and is met by her sister Alicent, while the guards lead the dragon to his place, and then the 2 princes head to their father's palace. After they reach the palace, Rhaenyra goes to meet her mother, who is about to give birth to the crown prince of the kingdom, which she wants her to go to shower to get rid of the smell of the dragon. And while the king and the advisors are looking into one of the revolutions that erupted against them, Princess Rhaenyra enters them, who he misses her very much and wants her to give him a drink because she is his favorite daughter. While the place of Prince Daemon, brother of the king, is empty, and the hand of the king, Lord Hightower, urges him to take over of his brother Daemon. And Sir Harold tells them that the festivities of the competition for the birth of the crown prince among the knights will be soon. In the evening, the king's doctor examines a wound on his back, knowing that this wound is difficult to treat except with fire. And the hand of the king wants him to remain a secret that no one knows. On the same night, Prince Daemon brings his soldiers and want to break into people's homes and kill thieves and violence, because the competition will be the next day in the same city. And he will actually storm and kill public and don't differentiate between many of them, and they were killing in a stuffy way without a trail or decision. The next day, the king gathers the counselors and his brother Daemon, and then warns him not to commit a triple mistake like the one he did yesterday, and not to kill innocent people without trail. And this day will be the day of the knight competition in the kingdom, and the king greets all the knights who came from the other cities. Then he will tell those present the Queen Aemma will give birth to him today, the heir of the throne who will be their future king. And everyone greets him and waits for the birth of their crown prince. The competition will be very tough, in which the shield will be broken and the knights will fall from their horses until it's the turn of Prince Daemon, who will represent the Targaryen family. In the first confrontation between them, Sir Alex will defeat Daemon, but in the second confrontation, Daemon performs a bad trick and Alex falls off his horse. And then someone comes and tells the king Hand that the Queen Aemma is giving birth, and then he will tell the king to go there immediately. He arrives there and wants to reassure her, but they will tell him that the fetus in her womb in inverted position, and he will have 2 hard choices, either he to sacrifice the child or to sacrifice his wife. While outside, the fight between the knights turns into brutal fight and many will die, until the duel of the knights come to the last stage, and the fight will be between Ser Criston Cole and the Prince Daemon, while the King Viserys will make his decision and wants Queen Aemma to be ready, and she will try to know what will happen. And he tells her that they will perform a surgery to remove the child, and when the doctor uses scalpel to open the abdomen and remove the baby, Aemma starts screaming as if she knows she will die, while Ser Cole manages to bring Daemon off his horse with a strong blow. Then the fight continues between them with weapons until the Ser Cole can defeat Daemon, and the Queen Aemma's won't continue until they can get the child out alive, while she's lost a lot of blood due to bleeding and dead. and the circle, the winner of the fight, asks for the honor from Princess Rhaenyra, while the King Viserys is very sad about the loss of his wife. And the doctor will tell him that the gender of the baby is a male, and he will name him Pelon. And after the news spreads, everyone will go inside and head to the king, while Rhaenyra feels that something important has happened. But the next day they will cremate Queen Aemma, and the King Viserys will be very sad because he lost the heir of the throne, Pelon, too. It will be very difficult for the princess to ask her dragon to cremate her mother and brother, but she will must do it, and the situation was very difficult for everyone present. In the evening, the king and his advisors discuss the selection of an heir to the throne. There are those who support choosing Prince Daemon as crown prince, and there are those who fear that he will destabilize the kingdom after his brother, while he eavesdrops on them and hears everything, while Lord Hightower supports Princess Rhaenyra to be the heir of the throne because she is the eldest daughter of the King Viserys. While the king is very angry and sad because of the loss of his wife and son, and he will postpone making his decision for another time. While Prince Daemon has gone to a brothel and he has taken his own soldiers with him to pamper themselves, and his horn there congratulating him because he's back as a crown prince. After that, they asking Prince Daemon to give a speech to them, and he rose up and said that it would be difficult for them to replace him, although we know that there's some advisors who hated him. And he said the king lost his hair, who was only for one day, and he was shaking them. On the same night, the king summoned him and wanted him to address him as my king instead of address him as brother, or he would make the guards to kill him immediately. Then he asked him if he had said that the king lost his hair, who was for only one day, and mocked him. And he was very angry and told his brother that he should have stood by him instead of going to brothel to celebrate his rise as a crown prince. But Daemon told him that the advisors were using him to reach their goals and that he had become weak to face that. But the king told him that he would appoint a new crown prince in his place. And when he tries to get close to his brother, the guards will stand between them and they will be ready to kill him at once. And the king will order him to return to the Gold Stone and not to stay in this capital. He will carry out the order immediately. Then he called his daughter Rhaenyra and wanted her to answer his question. That when she sees the dragons, what did she see? And she answers him that she sees themselves, the Targaryens. And he tells her that the rule of their family must continue with either a king or a queen, and that he has wasted many years voting for an heir for the throne, but he has made up his mind that Princess Rhaenyra will be the next queen to rule this kingdom of Targaryen. And indeed, the next day the coronation ceremonies began, and everyone, for the lords and councillors, swore allegiance to the King Viserys and his heir of the throne, Princess Rhaenyra, who will be the next queen of the kingdom of dragons. And while Prince Daemon is preparing to leave with his dragon, King Viserys tells his daughter that there is a secret that only kings and heirs to the throne know, that every hundreds of years comes a period of cold winter and darkness, and he recommends her that she must, if that happened in her judgment, to be ready to face darkness and winter. And while the Prince Daemon was leaving the capital with his dragon, King Viserys appointed his daughter Rhaenyra as his heir of the throne after him to be the queen of the Dragonstone.